The roar of motorcycles filled the quiet afternoon air outside the ironclad bar, the kind of place most folks avoided. The black leather jackets, the loud laughter, the smell of gasoline and smoke. It was the territory of the ironclad biker club, a group that the town both feared and misunderstood. They were seen as rough, dangerous, the kind of people parents warn their kids about. But that day everything changed. That day the entire town learned that heroes don't always wear uniforms. They sometimes wear leather and ride Harleys. If you believe that kindness, second chances and bravery can come from anyone, no matter how they look, then pause for a moment. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video to remind the world that real strength often hides behind unexpected faces. The afternoon sun burned low on the horizon, spilling orange light across the quiet street. The ironclad bar doors were half open, and a few bikers stood outside, polishing their bikes, laughing about some old story from the road. Their leader, Brody Kane, a man in his mid-40s with a thick beard and tattooed arms, stood a little apart, staring into the distance. Brody had seen the worst of life. Fights, betrayals, a past that still haunted him every night. He led the club not through fear, but through loyalty, and the quiet kind of authority that came from surviving what others couldn't. Then, suddenly, a sound cut through the noise of engines and laughter. It was faint at first, a cry, high and trembling, carried by the wind. The bikers looked up. From down the street, a small figure was running toward them. A little girl, no older than 7 or 8, barefoot, her jeans torn, her sweatshirt dusty. Tears streaked her cheeks, and her small hands shook as she ran as if chased by ghosts. The laughter died instantly. The rumble of engines faded. All eyes turned to her as she stumbled into the parking lot, breathless and terrified. Brody stepped forward, his voice gentle but firm. "Hey, kiddo, you okay?" But she didn't stop to answer. She ran straight to him, clutching his vest, crying so hard she could barely breathe. Behind her, about a block away, a man appeared, tall, scruffy, his white tank top stained with blood, his fists clenched. Even from a distance, everyone could see the danger in his eyes. Brody's chest tightened. He'd seen that look before. Drunken rage, the kind that only ends when someone stops it. He knelt beside the girl, his huge hand resting lightly on her trembling shoulder. "It's okay," he said quietly. "You're safe now." The girl tried to speak through sobs. "He hurt my mom, and he said he'd find me." She pointed shakily toward the man now shouting something down the street. The bikers exchanged glances, looks that didn't need words. Brody stood up slowly, his height casting a long shadow across the pavement. The man stopped when he saw the gang, 5 bikers standing shoulder to shoulder, silent, unblinking. The leader didn't need to say a thing, his men already knew what to do. The next moments unfolded like a movie. The drunken man took one step closer, and in a flash, 2 bikers moved between him and the girl. Brody's voice, calm but deadly serious, cut the air. "You've done enough damage for one day. Walk away." The man hesitated. He tried to shout, his words slurred, his anger desperate. But when he looked at their faces that had seen far worse than him, his bravado cracked. Brody's second-in-command, a tall guy named Rafe, pulled out his phone and quietly called the sheriff. The man realized too late that the ironclad gang wasn't the kind of people you threatened. The girl clung to Brody's arm as police sirens echoed in the distance. Her small body trembled, but for the first time in who knows how long, she felt safe. Brody's men made sure the drunken man didn't take another step forward. When the sheriff finally arrived, the man was on his knees, hands behind his head, the bikers standing around him like a wall. As the cops took the man away, Brody turned back to the girl. She was still crying, but the tears had changed. They weren't just from fear anymore. They were from exhaustion, from years of holding everything in. Brody crouched down again. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily," she whispered. "My mom's hurt. Please help her." Without hesitation, Brody looked at his crew. "Rafe, Angel, Tank, you're with me." Within minutes, they were on their bikes, the engines roaring like thunder. Lily guided them through the streets, clutching Brody's leather jacket from the sidecar. They arrived at a small, run-down house at the edge of town. The front door hung half open, and the inside smelled of spilled beer and broken lives. Inside, on the floor, they found Lily's mother, bruised, bleeding, barely conscious. Brody's jaw tightened, a deep fury burning inside him, but there was no time for rage. "Call an ambulance," he ordered softly. Angel, the only woman in the group, knelt beside the mother and gently checked her pulse. "She's breathing. She's gonna make it." Lily knelt next to her mom, clutching her hand. The bikers stood around them, silent, protective. When the ambulance arrived, the paramedics took the woman to the hospital. Brody and his crew followed close behind, waiting until she was safe inside. Hours passed. The hospital waiting room was quiet, except for the hum of vending machines. Lily had fallen asleep on a chair, her small body wrapped in Brody's leather vest. He sat beside her, his rough hands folded, staring at the floor. Rafe leaned against the wall. "You okay, boss?" he asked quietly. Brody didn't look up. "No kid should have to live like that," he said. "No one." When the doctor finally came out, the news was mixed. The mother would recover, but she needed time, both physically and emotionally. Social services would take care of Lily for the night. But when the woman from the agency came, Lily refused to let go of Brody's hand. She clung to him, crying, "Please, don't leave me! You saved me!" That night, the bikers made a decision that would shock the entire town. Brody called the sheriff personally. "We'll take care of her," he said, "until her mom's better." The sheriff hesitated, but deep down he knew these men could protect her better than anyone else could right now. So, for the next few weeks, the ironclad bar became Lily's new home. It wasn't fancy, just a dusty old building filled with motorcycles and memories. But it was safe. The bikers, once known for chaos and brawls, became her unexpected family. Angel helped her with schoolwork, Tank taught her how to fix a bike chain, and Rafe made her pancakes every morning, badly burnt, but full of love. For the first time, Lily laughed again. She drew pictures of motorcycles, played with Angel's dog, and even painted a small sign that read, "Ironclad Family," which she hung near the bar's entrance. But the real change happened in Brody. He had lived his life believing he was beyond redemption, a man defined by his past mistakes. Yet every time Lily smiled at him, he felt something shift inside. She reminded him of the daughter he lost years ago, the one he could never protect. Now, fate had given him another chance. Weeks turned into months. Lily's mom slowly recovered, both in body and in spirit. She visited often, crying each time she saw how happy her daughter had become. "I don't know how to thank you," she told Brody one evening. He just shook his head. "Don't thank me. Just be there for her. That's all that matters." When the day finally came for Lily to go home, the ironclad bar was quieter than usual. Everyone gathered outside as she hugged each of them one by one, her tiny arms wrapped around Brody's neck last. "I'll miss you," she whispered. Brody smiled, his eyes misty. "You know where to find us, kiddo. Ironclad's always got your back." As Lily and her mother drove away, the bikers stood watching the car disappear down the long, sunlit road. The silence was heavy, but peaceful. Brody looked at the sign above the bar, the same one that used to represent rebellion and toughness. Now it stood for something else entirely: protection, family, redemption. The next morning, a story about them appeared in the local paper. Biker gang saves child and mother from abuser. For the first time, the Ironclad Club wasn't seen as outlaws. They were seen as heroes. People in town who once crossed the street to avoid them now nodded in respect. But Brody didn't care about headlines. He cared about one thing, that somewhere out there, a little girl was sleeping peacefully for the first time in years, knowing she was loved and safe. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, and share this video. Let it remind the world that kindness can come from the most unexpected places, and that real courage is standing up for those who can't. Before you go, drop a comment below and tell us, do you believe people can change no matter what their past looks like? Because the Ironclad bikers did. And that belief changed not just one girl's life, but their own forever.